changes. It's on a new platform now that is going to be more integrated with Google Classroom, where you can assign assignments through the platform. Read 180 and Math 180 is a combination of online software-based practice and intervention along with direct instruction from the teacher. So as part of this whole package, teachers would need some more extensive training because it's a new platform, there's new books, all those things. And the estimated cost for implementing Read 180 and Math 180 this year would be $165,934. We're looking also to use ESSER for this. And if you look under the recommendation, you can see the number of licenses per school. Those are based on the number of courses we're able to offer based on our teaching staff available.
Any questions?
Is it 155,000 or 165,000?
No, 165,000. Did I say 155?
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Red Fish for corrective reading.
All right, so this one is not a renewal, this is new. Corrective reading is an intervention program that is evidence-based, is one of the best intervention programs available for 3rd through 5th grade students. It's difficult to find interventions that have lasted over the years and shown to be effective for multiple years. There's 30 years of, 20 or 30? Let me look. 30 years of peer-reviewed research on this intervention program that has shown success primarily with our 3-5 students, or with 3-5 students across the country. Corrective reading is, let me see. Sorry, it's specifically we're targeting 3rd through 5th grade students. It is a direct instruction program, so this would be for students that are identified as being 2 or more years below getting that Tier 3 support. Teachers and tutors can also all utilize this. We are going to be training our 3-5 teachers on this. One of the reasons why we're also bringing this in and looking at different intervention programs and materials and resources is that we were looking at using the rest of our 35J funds to get some equity in terms of the interventions we have across our sites. Right now what we have is some schools may have access to this intervention where others have access to this because they've used title funds and things to purchase it. We are trying to get some alignment around if I'm a third grade student and I am struggling in reading, no matter what school I'm going to, I will have access to corrective reading as an intervention if it aligns to what I need. We are looking at other interventions that we have across our buildings and making sure that those are shored up at each site so that everyone has it, and we're putting together kits so that classroom teachers would know if I have a student who is in 4th grade who is struggling with comprehension, this is the intervention I would go to. We are looking to use 35J to purchase this program at a total of $41,047.14, which includes the training as part of that, which is $3,500 for the training. And our goal is to get that training in August, if this is approved, so that they would go into the year with the training.
Any questions? All right, seeing none. Renewal, second step, Greg Bish.
Hi, everyone. All right, so this one is an easy one. Second step is a program that we use to build social emotional skills. This is a program that teachers would use on a daily basis, 10-15-minute lessons with students, talking about managing their emotions, setting goals. This is really, really beneficial in our middle school right now. Our middle school advisory program was redesigned about 15 months ago from now. It was at the beginning of last summer. And we utilized the framework that SEL, or the second step uses with the CASEL competencies. And that is part of our curriculum. So this program really does help align our advisory program at the middle school to have the resources to teach those things. So we are looking to just renew, again, at a 1-year license cost for K-8 to implement second step at a cost of $22,500, which is also through ESSER.
Any questions?
With us, is that a possibility that we need to approve this recommendation? I see your next step is to request that it's voted on the same meeting that's presented due to limitations.
No, we don't need to do that.
We don't need to? Okay.
Sorry about that. I think I had that on there on a previous one, and I didn't take it on.
Okay.
I apologize for
Just
that.
wondered, that's good.
Anything else? Thank you, Greg. Okay, 2024-2025 radio replacements. Walkie-talkies Phase 2, Mitch Fowler.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let's minimize this, shall we? There we go. All right, so I'm picking up where Dr. Miller left off. So before you in your board packet, you have a recommendation for the purchase of Motorola radios. These are walkie-talkies from the vendor Rocom in the amount of $20,385. These are to bring up schools that are listed in your packet so that they have adequate radio equipment in the event of a safety issue, communication issue within their school. Happy to entertain, potentially get back to you with any questions.
Any questions for Mitch? All right, seeing none. New Line Interactive Panels, Anjay Kellogg, Mitch Fowler.
All right, so with the addition of the 6th grade academy at Anjay Kellogg next year, in your board packet, we are recommending the purchase of 6 New Line Interactive panels. Quick commercial of what these are: essentially take this TV a little bit bigger, put it on a very sturdy cart that can be moved around the classroom and be used like a cell phone. And that's what you have, what we're proposing here. The reason for that being this allows us a flexible AV solution in that 6th grade academy, depending on how the need varies.
Are those the smart boards?
They are, so it's essentially a giant Android phone.
Yep. Oh, I need a visualization, so.
Projection screen over.
So these have been demoed in our tech office for the last several months and throughout the district, and they are extremely durable. They do come with a standard manufacturer 1-year warranty, but the durability has been a pretty big selling point for them. And I would say the base, I've seen these, the base is very, very large, so it's not like it's going to be a tip concern.
Any other questions?
Are they in stock?
They are. Yep, they are in stock.
Great question.
They'll be rolling down the highway here soon, hopefully.
Well, it's interesting how you want to use them after we're done with them at Anjay Kellogg. So that makes good sense.
Come on over and see them.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, we'll move down to Urban Connections Project, Dr. Anita Harvey.
Well, Dr. Harvey makes her way up. Just a quick update. So audio is coming through just fine. We just cannot figure out a way to remove the break message. So
Oh,
There's no visual?
I will lay off the break.
Good evening.
Hi.
As we continue to have amazing things happening in Battle Creek Public Schools, one of which is our intentionality to increase our goal to have a healthy organizational culture. So in your board packets, you will see a contract for partnering with Urban Connections Project. There's a quote that I wanted to read. You may not remember what someone says, but you will always remember how they made you feel. And so we really want to ensure that our teachers, our staff, and our students understand how to have great relationships and working relationships that support high academic achievement. And so the Urban Connections work centers on working with educators to have culturally responsive teaching skill sets so that we set high expectations for our students, common expectations for our students, so that we take the guesswork around what students are supposed to do in the classrooms and common spaces and in shared spaces. Oftentimes when we are not clear about what students are to do in buildings, that's where the misrepresentation of what disrespect and respect looks like, where the misunderstanding of this is not following directions or following rules, but if we have a commonality centering us around what the expectations are for both teaching and learning, then we can take away that misinterpretation for that. And so that's what this entity helps us to do, is to raise awareness, build accountability systems, enhance the relationships, and also the rigorous accessibility of content, helping us see our path forward for developing this. Part of their work also includes progress monitoring of self-assessments and assessments along the way. Are we making progress? How do we know what we've crafted out is working or not working? That also includes walkthroughs with staff and with student groups. And then also create a support plan for what things need to be addressed and what things we need to continue to work on. So you have a contract for their services for $115,000 that will be covered and funded through the WKKF funds. What questions do you have?
I have one. So if I have a student that's at A&J, if they go over to Verona, they'll know exactly what went on at A&J. They're going to do the same thing at Verona. So there'll be the different cultures, different buildings, but the standard will be the same.
Absolutely. And so we've started this work in the summer just as a precursor of building our understanding around culture systems and the need for it to be the same by grade bands, K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12. But even under that, what are we mapping against? So what does respect look like? Let's unpack that across the board. So to your point, Madam President, if you go to A&J, if you go to Verona, if you go to Post Franklin, we still have the same common expectation.
Great, thank you. Any other comments?
Question.
Yes.
So how will this, so tell me the difference between this and how they may, the difference between this and the Deans of Culture and Climate and how they work together? What's different? Is it a collaboration?
It's the collaboration of their work. And so what we're looking to do is have this as a base point for what they're going to make sure continues in their spaces, but also help to facilitate.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
So I remember on the survey that we got from teachers, one of the big things was kind of what Madam President said, where there was different rules at different buildings and different policies or behavior or discipline at each building. So will this circumvent that issue?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we've started to do is all the buildings met in June to talk about what their common expectations were. And this partnership started to synthesize what can it look like standardized across the building. So if something happens in one building, what is the consequence for that? So it could be the same across and not subjective.
Anything else?
Is there support? You mentioned the levels of K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9, 12. Is there a support person that works with that specific stage of our students?
So we're going to lean on our building principals to oversee some of this work, but even the larger team includes the principal supervisors at each of those levels, elementary and secondary, and then Director Cheeks and her team.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I think this is going to be good for the district. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Harvey. Okay, 2024-2025 communication support, Dr. Carter.
Thank you. So, Mr. Hunt is off learning more about comms. He's at a conference right now, so on behalf of him, I am presenting the communication support for 24-25. This is a continuation of our partnership with Fenton, but I think the biggest note is that it is a considerable drop over the last 8 years. When we began with communications, we had a $1.5 million budget. It's now down to $335,000, which was part of the always the plan, right? Was a gradual release of our dependency on our outside funder and bringing some of those things in-house. One of the questions that was presented prior to the board meeting by one of our trustees is what's the plan for our communications department? And we would love to key strategies for our communications team this year is to really focus in on the Bearcat Advantage, making sure that that's widely and broadly communicated, and develop other strategies that help us tell our rejectors, which is the communications term for those who live in our district but choose a district outside, about the value of a Battle Creek Public Schools education. Because if we can reverse the out-migration, that then brings up revenue and we can build a communications department internally. But again, all of that is contingent upon enrollment increases, and we do have a plan to work on that over the next year, and that's our goal. So with that being said, it's recommended that the board adopt and approve a recommendation for our communications partnership with Fenton in the amount up to $385,000, and this is being paid for through our partnership with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation.
I have a question. So what you just explained was, it sounded like that's more external communications trying to draw back in. Do we have a plan around like internal communications within the district and awareness of events across buildings and all, just internal news for people who are already in the district?
So yes, and it's still in process. I will say that Mr. Hunt has created a communications strategic plan for the year, and so what I hear is that I'd love for him to present to the board what are his goals, outcomes, and strategies that he's working on for this year.
Yeah.
So I will add that to an August board meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions? All righty, seeing none. Sergeant of Membership, Dr. Michael Henry.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
I rise to share information regarding Cognia's membership for systems accreditation. School accreditation started 125 years ago, and in Battle Creek Public Schools, we are proud of the fact that Battle Creek Central High School is one of the first schools in the state of Michigan to receive accreditation 120 years ago, in 1904. That's a perfect time to give a ceremonial golf clap. Accreditation is a framework for schools and school systems to focus on school improvement. During this process, staffs assess their own performance on 30 standards that focus on the culture of learning, leadership of learning, engagement of learning, and growth in learning. We are recommending that the board, we're recommending and requesting systems accreditation for all of our schools, not just Battle Creek Central High School, because schools have districts have a choice whether they want their high school accredited, because of course kids are graduating from high school and go off to college, so of course you want your high schools accredited, because colleges will say, well, you're not accredited, so yeah, that part. But Cognia has a system, they have systems accreditation where all of our elementary, all of our middle schools, and all of our high schools are accredited. So it's systems accreditation. They'll come one time, and they'll assess all of our schools relative to meeting those 30 standards. And so at this time, we're recommending and requesting systems accreditation for all of our schools in Battle Creek, not just the high school. So the $12,800 amount is the membership fee for the Battle Creek Public School District to be systems accredited. System accreditation embracing a formalized, systemic, and sustained process that supports school improvement. And the accreditation process assists schools and school systems in formalizing their school improvement process. This rigorous process assists schools in identifying what we really do well and then setting a framework on how we can improve. Tools and resources come with systems accreditation: digital observation tools, various stakeholder surveys, professional development support, and other diagnostics are included that help schools measure school quality and student engagement. And so obtaining schools systems accreditation across all Battle Creek Public Schools ensures that we're following a quality control self-assessment process on our journey towards school improvement. And just a caveat, the International Alliance Group requires partnering districts to be accredited for those individuals that come from those international teachers. They require districts to have accreditation.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, we have gone through a candidacy phase in order to determine whether or not we have the capacity to become systems accredited, and we at Battle Creek Public Schools have the capacity to become systems accredited. So with your blessings, we ask that you all approve the membership fee of $12,800 for all of our schools to become accredited. Questions?
My question is, schools are listed on the websites, so next to their names, they'll say accredited?
On our website, on our district website, we will say all of our schools will be accredited by Cognia. Cognia is the largest accrediting agency in the world. I'm a lead evaluator for Cognia, and we accredit schools in 36,000 school districts and schools across the world and in 90 countries.
How does a school, I'm sorry. So like Fremont's an IB school, for example, and I think Springfield's working towards that. How does that factor in?
It's a separate, because I know they have, IB have their own accreditation. This would be a separate accreditation in that regard, so they would be duly accredited.
Gotcha. All right, Trustee Fulbright.
How long is this membership good for? So the 12,800.
That's per year.
Okay, so next year, because if we do it now, we don't have Northwestern Fine Arts Academy. So next year, this will assumingly go up because we'll have another school, or is this just for everything?
They'll add an additional, well, let's see. In that, because Battle Creek Central High School had already paid their $1,200, so that's not included in this price. But then when you add an additional school, it'll be an additional $1,200. Each school's $1,200. So if you multiply 12 times 1,200, comes to that figure.
Okay. So the 12,800 is per school?
No, that's the whole district.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole district.
1,200 per school.
Okay.
What did I say?
12,000.
I didn't say
12,200. I was tracking.
If I said it wrong, if I said it wrong, I'll write the check.
I heard you say it like that, so.
Clarifying.
Dr. Henry,
Yes, ma'am.
will this organization send out staff people to organize teams of learners? in these
Yes, they
buildings?
have, what they have is regional, they have regional lead evaluators, and so there's a regional lead evaluator for this area. That same individual, Ypsilanti and Detroit and
E-course, all of Southwest Michigan. So
Right.
just to add context, I checked with our Student Alliance members, and they're all becoming accredited institutions. And I just wanted to make sure that this was a return on the investment, and it was highly recommended to just give the stamp of approval on the rigor and quality of the education you're providing.
Is there a framework that each school building has to follow to meet accreditation?
Absolutely, following these 30 standards. And each one of them will go through a self-assessment where they unpack the standards. So I knew that question was going to come up. And so, for example, I'm just going to grab one particular standard 17. Leaders have equitable opportunities to realize their learning potential. So with that particular standard, they have a 4-point rubric in regard to where, so those building leaders at that school is like, okay, where do we rate ourselves looking at this particular rubric? So if you rate yourself a 4, that means you've got it really, really going on. You have to provide that evidence. And what's powerful about the whole process is you might think you're a 4 and you begin to have that conversation, but when you're asked to provide the evidence to support that 4, it's like, oh no, we're not a 4, we might be more of a 3 or a 2. So it's healthy conversation. And so what will it take for us to become a 4? All of those conversations are part of the process.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Dr. Henry.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down to public comment. Thank you. Moving down to new business. Okay. The chair will now entertain a motion for the approval of the 2024-2025 Chromebook order. Trustee LaValle?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 2024-2025 Chromebook order in the amount of $286,720 with a funding source of general funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee LaValle, supported by Trustee Fulbright, that we approve the 2024-2025 Chromebook order. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Chair will now entertain a motion for the 2024-2025 staff laptops.
Madam President,
Yes, Doctor?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 24-25 staff laptops in the amount of up to $65,000 from the funding source general funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Johnson, supported by Trustee LaValle, that we approve the 2024-2025 staff laptops. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. The chair will now entertain a motion regarding the Battle Creek STEM logo education.
Madam President?
Yes, Dr. Perry?
I move that we approve the BC STEM Lego education in the amount of $27,469 coming from the ESSER grant funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Perry, supported by Trustee Graycheck, that we approve the Battle Creek STEM logo education. Any discussion?
Are we going with Trustee Graycheck or Trustee Dr. Johnson on the second?
Graycheck? All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. The chair will now entertain a motion regarding the WK Prep gym floor refinishing.
Madam President? I move that we will approve the WK Prep Gym Floor refinishing in the amount of $21,960.06 coming from the sinking funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Dr. Nicole and supported by Dr. Johnson that we approve the WK Prep gym floor refinishing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. We'll now move down to Chartwell's food service contract.
Madam President,
Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
I move that we approve the Chartwell's food service contract in the amount of $3,287,737 from the funding source food service.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee Fulbright, supported by Trustee LaValle, that we approve the Chartwell's food service contract. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Chair will now entertain a motion regarding the new line interactive panels for N.J. Kellogg.
Madam President,
Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
I move that we approve the new line interactive panels at E&J Kellogg in the amount of $20,802 from the funding source, the ESSER fund.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee Fulbright, supported by Trustee LaValle, that we approve the new line interactive panels for N.J. Kellogg. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. We'll move down to superintendent comments. Dr. Carter.
I will just be brief and say I truly appreciate all of the community members that went out of their way to provide the community carnival this weekend. It was an amazing event. Words cannot express how impressed I was with the organization, coordination, and just the opportunities that were provided for our families and children in the neighborhood. So kudos to the Washington Heights Community Church, as well as all of the other churches that tapped in to provide that opportunity. I look forward to welcoming staff back in August, but I hope that they are continuing to enjoy their summer break.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Board member comments. Yes, Trustee Riley.
Thank you, President Poole-Gray. I drove by today the Northwestern Academy of Visual and Performing Arts building, and it is looking impressive. It's really looking terrific, and was pleased to see its progress because I'd not been there for a few weeks, but it's looking mighty nice. I also enjoyed the Day of Hope Summer Carnival at Washington Heights United Methodist Church. It was a beautiful day to see the community out, to see everybody having a great time was really a joy. And I liked the layout this year of the carnival because the rides were conveniently by the park path or a pathway that kind of was just really a good setup for all those nice, easy, fun, exciting rides. And to know that there was free water and free everything, it was really quite a bit of good times had by all.
Any other board member comments? That's Trustee Ford, right?
So first off, great things are happening about public schools. I'll start with that. I do have a few updates for the community, in the community. This week, Battle Creek celebrates the LGBTQ plus Pride Week. So this Thursday is the kickoff with the LGBTQ&A. It's at the Millerstone Building at 7 p.m. and I will be your master of ceremonies. This Friday is the annual Pride Parade, which again, Battle Creek Public Schools is going to be walking in. We are spot number 18, so any staff that wants to join, I will be there as well as other employees, so feel free to join or just watch if you want to come downtown.
You want to step up?
Step off is 7 p.m. This Saturday is the Pride Festival at Lila Arboretum. It is from 12 to 8. This is a $5 parking, but it's a free event, so tons of vendors, tons of entertainment. And then Sunday is the end of it with the Candlelight Vigil at the Battle Creek Pride Resource Center, which is at 104 Calhoun Street at 8:30 p.m. Another reminder, a week from tomorrow is the last day to put your application in for being a board member. So we would love to have you join our board next year. We have 2 spots open, so you've got a week and 1 day to turn in your application in Marshall at 4 p.m. And then a reminder for all of the board members and the community, Monday, September 23rd, we're having a joint board meeting with all 4 districts, Lakeview, Harper, Penfield, and ourselves. Board members, I put a tentative agenda in front of you, but the main topic will be legislative update from MASB, and everyone is invited, the community as well as all 4 boards will be there. So it'll be a fun event. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other board member comments? Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Who's on technology day?